We have the Golden Globes, but why not the Golden Hookers of the best things in the sport for 2024? That's what we're going to talk about right now. Now, 2024 was filled with ups and downs, drama, hate, jealousy, dislike, all sorts of things. You name it, the sport and hobby had it in 2024. But I thought it'd be fun to do something different and come up with the Golden Hookers. These aren't women of the night that have golden... Well, let's not go there. But I thought we'd come up with a few topics, and I'll give you the people who I think should be in the category, and then my winner, but you need to put who your winner is too. So after each one, comment below and tell me your exact person you think should win that category. And we'll have best angler, best content creator, best podcast, best or biggest loss in 2024, best villain, best fishing league. We'll have the Big Fish Award and then the biggest loser. And we'll have some honorable mentions in there too. But again, comment who you think is the winner in each category. Let's start off with best angler. I think without question, Jacob Wheeler is in this category. I think Chris Johnston, Kyle Welcher, these are all three were Angler of the Year awards. And I think to get to the best angler, you need to win either Angler of the Year or Classic. In my opinion, the Angler of the Year award means the most. Now, Kyle Welcher won it on MPFL, which is a humongous success. But you still have to go against Chris Johnson and Jacob Wheeler in here. And I think while Chris Johnson had an absolutely ridiculous year, Jacob Wheeler continues to impress in all categories, in all stats. And in my opinion, Jacob Wheeler was the 2024 best angler. Now for content creators, this one's tough because you could go either way. People that do daily videos or weekly videos or fishing trips and stuff like that. But the nominees are Ben Milliken. Really can't say anything about Ben Milliken. He is quite possibly the biggest YouTube content creator there is. Jacob Wheeler's channel is phenomenal. Dustin Cannell does a great job also. One that I don't think gets enough credit is Gary Blanchard. His channel is amazing. Randy Blockett posts 2 videos a day, which shows you the consistency you need to be popular on YouTube. And like him or dislike him, you have to give Randy a lot of credit for the work ethic that he puts in. Fish the Moment is a great channel. And then last but not least, Matt Steffen. For me, consistency is a big part of creating content. It's tough to create content on a consistent basis. Also, you have to have topics that are really good. And last but not least, it comes down to fishing. Do you like the fishing videos or do you like the content about fishing? For me, and as crazy as this is going to sound, there's going to be 2 channels and 2 winners in this case. Randy Blockett and Matt Steffen. They both produce consistent content that it just gets you talking. It gets your juices flowing for the sport and the hobby. And while I know Randy isn't very well loved by a lot of people, he's very polarizing, he really is fantastic. And what he's done on YouTube is even better. And Matt Steffen has one of the best channels I've ever watched. But who is your favorite out of those nominees? The next category is Best Podcast. Now, you could go all sorts of ways on this one. The How Dangerous podcast, phenomenal, gets you talking, gets a serious amount of views. I mean, the How Dangerous podcast might be one of the bigger ones. Bass Talk Live, consistency. What Bass Talk Live has done over the, I don't even know how many years, 10, 20 years, it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. He's up to date on information, gets the best anglers, knows how to interview people properly, doesn't talk over them, and it's really a fantastic podcast. The Ike Show needs to be mentioned in here, and so is Bass After Dark, my buddy Ken Dukes. I think when you look at those 4 podcasts, as much as it might be swayed one way or the other, my favorite one on there, the winner for me, is Bass Talk Live. Who's the biggest upcoming angler? Trey McKinney is in this category, Kyle Patrick, Marshall Robinson, and Drew Gill and Robert Gee. When you look at all those guys, and there's a lot of great rookies, In my opinion, the best upcoming angler in that group is Drew Gill. Drew is a fantastic angler. This is taking nothing away from McKinney and all those other guys. This is a category that's hard to get into, and these are all really successful rookie anglers. What was the biggest loss in 2024? Well, I'm considering losses by people who retired and also who left the sport. Mark Zona is in this category, Clark Wendlandt. KVD is kind of in this category, even though he quit 2 years ago. We still saw him last year in a couple tournaments. Rick Clunn. This one's really hard too. When you think of KVD at the heavy hitters, that was amazing for him to win the heavy hitters in $100,000. Zona leaving the elites is, my opinion, the biggest loss to the industry in 2024. I don't think we have even touched the surface of just how great Zona was at announcing the elites, and having someone fit into his shoes is pretty much impossible. But I'm sure the elites are going to do it. But in my opinion, Zona leaving was the one that I feel was the biggest loss for 2024. But what do you think? Best villain. We could say Corey Johnston. We could say James Watson. We could say Chris Zaldain. Mike Iaconelli, Boyd Duckett, and then Trey McKinney. All those guys are in that best villain. I think we can instantly knock off Duckett and McKinney and Mike Iaconelli and James Watson. While they all had humongous things going on this year, being outspoken for James shouldn't be a negative. Mike Iaconelli screaming, yelling at that woman on the thing, that's it. Duckett, I mean, he's always going to be on the list. And Trey, with all the issues he had, I think that's why you could kind of put him in that villain. But still, an amazing young man, and has a very big upside in the industry. In my opinion, this is two winners, Corey Johnston and Chris Zaldain. Corey chirping at Robert G was over the top for me. That's just me. Chris Zaldain yelling at those two fans was really, really over the top for me. I thought Chris lost a lot of respect in the industry because of how he handled the situation. I also think that he doubled down. And I don't know if that was the right thing to do. And to each his own. But I would have been much more impressed and felt better if Chris would have just come out and apologized. He was the third person in on that spot. It didn't give him a right to do what he did. But he is entitled to his opinion. And rightfully so. He didn't think he was wrong. I respect that. In my opinion, I would have rather seen him apologize to them and to us, even though he doesn't have to apologize to us, but apologize to the fans that were out there instead of saying they were the person wrong. Because I believe Chris was wrong. What was the best fishing league in 2024? We had the NPFL, had a great year. Bassmaster Elites filled with drama. Bassmaster Opens, MLF and the BPT, and the MLF Team Trail. You don't even have to ask me. MLF Team Trail was by far the best tournament series there was. If we had to do single tournaments, I would say Heavy Hitters was probably the best tournament I watched all year. But if we had to group it as a whole series, the MLF Team Series made me realize how much I enjoy watching fishing again. I enjoy that they all weren't scoping. I enjoy the camaraderie between the people. I like the chirping between each one, the Blaine brothers chirping against each other. And you got to hear how they were going to learn a new body of water that they didn't know where they were going. And the MLF Team Trail was, without question, in my mind, the best tournament series there was. Now the Big Fish Award. You can go all sorts of ways. Justin Hammer, Lake Forth, 11-7. Corey Johnston in Palatka. KVD and Heavy Hitters. Cliff Crochet on Toledo Bend. You had Jacob Prosnick on the Leats and the Harris Chain. And then Jesse Wise. All these fish were over 10 pounds. Some of 11 pounds. For me, even though KVD was the Heavy Hitters at 7-11, he wasn't 10 pounds. The winner of that one was Justin Hammer on the Lake Fork in the 11-7. That was an amazing fish. Amazing catch. And it brought to light and brought his name to the forefront of one of those elite hammers on the water. As much as I dislike to say hammer, he crushed it last year. The classic Lake Fork and that big fish. To me, the Big Fish Award goes to Justin Hamner. But who is your winner out of that list? And then last but not least, the biggest loser of the year. Well, let's just put me as that one. I have several, really two, that I'd like to announce. But it isn't for me to announce. Who's the biggest loser in 2024? If you say me, I don't mind. It's all right. I could be the biggest loser. I've done so many more videos in 2024 than I ever thought I ever would. I'm trying to keep up a certain pace and to grow the channel. So if you're not a subscriber, click that like and subscribe and become part of the team and family. Thanks for hitting that like and subscribe button. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all the new members. Thank you to all the new subscribers. And thank you to everyone who's interactive on this channel. I'm humbled and appreciative of it. So thank you. But if you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, do so. It's free. It's easy. And you should be part of the team. And I forgot what I was going to say there. So that's why I had those gaps. So remember, take your kid fishing, tight lines, cheers, and get your fish on.